here to learn. Okay, I hope we are on. If anything, let me know. But grab your journals and your pens, tea, water, whatever your soul desires. I have my notes here and let's get started. I'll just, oops, have my notes here, and if you have any questions, let me get ready my chat so I can see you. Okay. Today we're talking about boundaries. Okay, I don't see the live here. Obviously, I'm doing this for the first time. Doesn't matter. I'm sure I'll see it on my phone. But today we're talking about soft boundaries for glowing life. Because as women, so many times we have hard time setting boundaries. And let me just change this a little bit. And so it's important to learn to set boundaries so we can have healthy relationships and, in my opinion, self-respect. I've learned later in life to set boundaries, and um, I think my choices would have been different if I had different boundaries, but what can you do? We're here to learn. So let's get started. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do, because that's really helpful. I'm trying to grow the channel and help as many women as possible. So if you haven't, please subscribe, comment, say hi, and again, grab your journal. I have mine. We're gonna be journaling in real time, but obviously if you feel like you need a lot more time, do that afterwards. You can repeat these questions again and rewatch the live stream again. So um, before we begin, let's do a little short meditation so we can just get grounded. You can sit, or you can sit on the floor, you can sit on a chair and have your feet grounded on the floor. And let's close our eyes. We can have one hand over our heart, one hand on our womb. That's my favorite position. And let's take a deep breath first and just exhale. And now we're gonna start to breathe in through our nose on the count of 4, and then hold for 4, and then we exhale on 6. So let's get started. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we exhale on 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can do that as many times as you want, but even one time it's just enough for those that don't meditate and they are just beginners. So let's set an intention for today. Today we're journaling on something sacred: boundaries. No walls. The boundaries are not walls, not defense mechanism, but soft strength. For me, boundaries are self-love. And we always teach people how to treat us. So boundaries are extremely important to protect our nervous system, our time, our hearts, and ultimately our glow, because we glow from inside out. And I had anxieties for many, many years, and ultimately a panic attack. So for me, the most important thing is my inner peace. So if something disturbs that, I try to regulate my nervous system, or try to set boundaries, or remove myself from the situation or the person. For many of us, boundaries hasn't always been safe, depending on the environment that we have grew up in. If saying no makes you freeze, if responding later makes you feel guilty, if protecting your time feels selfish, you are not alone. You're absolutely not alone, because many of us have done this, have felt the same way. And just, I want to let you know that once you start setting boundaries, you're going to feel extremely uncomfortable. And all these emotions like guilt and whatever arises for you, there's no right or wrong emotions. But know that if you feel this way, it's not wrong, and it's gonna get better at the time, with time. And so it's very important to learn to regulate our nervous system, because once we start having, let's say, guilt for saying no, or fear start coming in our head, like, oh my gosh, they're not going to be my friend anymore, they're not going to call me again, or whatever it is. Just, it's important to learn to breathe and sit with the difficult emotions and not run away. It, if you have the difficult emotions, it doesn't mean you are on the wrong track. It means actually you're on the right track, because it means you are going out of your comfort zone and you are going to grow, because in your comfort zone there's no growth. So uh, today we're going to gently reclaim our power, because we're going to start with baby steps. We'll explore the four kinds, in my opinions, that every of boundaries that every woman needs, actually every person, but we are all about female glow. So mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And we're going to talk about how they relate to our energy, time, and relationships. So let's get started with the mental boundaries. So these boundaries protect our thoughts, our clarity, our focus, and what we choose to entertain. So think of your mind as a garden. Whatever you water grows. If you water entertainment, books, or gossip, fear, self doubt, that's what it's gonna take root. That's what is going to grow. If you water peace, intention, truth, that's what's gonna bloom. So mental boundaries also include how we respond to the content we consume and the conversations we're in. Think of that friend who always wants to gossip and talks about other people. First of all, if they talk about other people, make sure that, rest assured that when you leave the room, they're going to be talking about you. Or a coworker. They spiral out of negativity and they talk about colleagues and so on. So you don't have to absorb all that, because that, it's going to affect your energetic field, and we are all energy, so it's going to lower ultimately your vibrations, and you're going to start attracting more of that, because whatever vibrations you have, you're going to attract of the same, excuse me, you're going to attract of the same. So it's very important to protect our energy and to protect who enters this energetic field. Imagine you have this energetic field around it, so it's very important. uh, these are the boundaries, your energetic field, and so it's very important what penetrates that. And gossip, negativity, talking about other people, complaining, always complaining. I mean, we have friends, I'm sure, like that, or family members. You can, um, make sure you have boundaries with these people. And you don't have to absorb everything. Boundaries here might sound like, let's change the topic. Or you just change the topic without saying, let's change the topic. Or that doesn't feel nourishing. Or simply just give yourself permission to limit time around draining energy. It's not judgmental, it's discernment. So let's journal for our first prompt, which will be around mental um, boundaries. So the prompt is, and just write free of stream, conscious, free conscious. conscious free stream, whatever that is. Just write whatever comes to mind. There's no right or wrong. So, what thoughts, content, or conversations am I allowing that don't align with who I am becoming? What does my mental space need more of or less of? So let's do the first one. What thoughts, content, or conversations am I allowing that don't align with who I'm becoming? Not who I am now, who I'm becoming. We always have to act as if, you know, as if we are the person that we want to be. So, what are those thoughts? What is the content? What are the conversations? So, let's have 2 minutes on the clock. I'm not sure that's 2 minutes, but just let's have one more minute. And I'm just going to check something. Okay. Let's go to the second one. What does my mental space need more of or less of? That can be thoughts, people, just anything. What do you need to create that inner peace? 2 minutes again. Okay. So, reflection tip that I can give you, it's your energy is sacred and your attention is nourishment. Choose what you water. That is very important, like, again. And the next boundary, those are the emotional boundaries. These boundaries honor your inner world. It's not just about what others say, it's about how much you carry. Emotional boundaries mean recognizing when we're taking responsibility for other people's feelings. So sometimes we say something or we do something to protect our peace, and then people are upset, and then we feel guilty. That's an example of taking responsibility for other people's feelings. And that very often happens in relationships where we feel unsafe to express our own feelings. Um, Another example, when someone texts, "Are you mad at me?" and you rush to soothe them, even though you're the one hurting because they have done something that maybe you have a right to be mad at them. So, when you feel like you can't express a need without being abandoned or blamed around some people. So true safety in a relationship isn't just physical. It's emotional, it's mental, it's spiritual. Being someone who listens, honors your feelings, and doesn't make you shrink is real love. Because if you are not free to express your emotions and they deem you sensitive or too much, then of course you're not going to feel safe to express your emotions and your feelings or your concerns. So, uh, and ultimately we start to change ourselves and we start people pleasing and overgiving. And overgiving is not love, it's often a nervous system response. So sometimes we think like, okay, if we give too much to this person, they're not going to be like that. First of all, that's not our responsibility. Who they are, what they are, that's their responsibility. We're not anyone's therapist or a mother. And then we start people pleasing, and also we want to overgive, and that is a compensatory mechanism that we learn from childhood. It's just a protective mechanism. So let's journal a prompt. Where do I feel responsible for other people's emotions or ashamed of my own? 2 minutes. I have to check something. And the second prompt, where do I need to ask for space or support instead of giving from depletion? So, a lot of times we feel bad about asking for help, and that's very typical of all of us women. But we're here to learn. So, baby steps. Where do you need to ask for space or support instead of giving from depletion? So where are you over giving, in which areas, to which people, and where can you ask for more support and space? 2 minutes on the clock. So whatever comes to mind. Journaling is not perfect. Okay, so the next boundary, again, just remember, overgiving, it's not love, it's a nervous system response. So setting boundaries around emotional, mental, physical, your physical being, it's self-love, and you ultimately teach how to people to treat you. So the next one would be the physical boundaries. This includes your time, your energy, rest, body, anything that has to do with your physical body. And here's the truth we forget: time is not something that we have, it's something that we create. So you are allowed even to set boundaries with your own self. So to create space for meditation, for yoga, for exercise. You're not going to find time because we're all busy. We all have 24 hours a day. And time will not appear magically, but you can be creating time. And for me, sacred time is morning rituals. Like, I otherwise will be all scattered all over the place. But if I don't start my morning the right way or end my evening in the right way, I just feel like my day will be completely off, or I'll not be sleeping the way I could be sleeping if I have my routine. So that time is sacred for me. Um, in the morning and in the evening, and it just, I don't like thinking what should I be doing right now. So I have my routine, and I usually, because I have a lot of different things and I get quickly bored from things, or I find new things that I could be doing in the morning that enhance my mental and emotional state. So what I did is, in a frame 8 by 10, I wrote down all the routines that I do that I love to do. So it's journaling, prayer, meditation, yoga, tennis, running, um, listening to subliminal videos, or high vibration music and dancing to it. So these are things that I like to do in the morning, but I cannot do them obviously all at the same time. So I wrote them down because I don't want to be thinking and keeping them in the back of my mind. So when I wake up, I look at the frame and I decide what speaks to me, the first thought. So I choose two things and I do those. And one is always an exercise. So it could be yoga, just some kind of a physical movement. But this is non negotiable for me. Before I um, take a call from a friend, before anything, this is it. And in the evening, I have different routine. I usually make myself lavender and chamomile tea, and I read a little bit. It can be a page, but I do read. That's my evening routine. I do a little bit of stretching. Yeah, I used to do yin yoga, but nowadays I don't do it as much, and it's more like winter thing for me. And so I do lavender tea and chamomile, and I read a page. That's it. That slows me down, puts me just in the right mood for before bed. So your routines are boundaries. If your lunch break, it's something that you like to do on your own and go to the gym or maybe go for a walk, this is your boundary. You need to protect it. If a colleague constantly pulls you into do something else, you have to set some kind of boundaries. So every time you journal in the morning, protect your alone time and say, I'll respond later. I actually have my phone off the whole night, right? So it's airplane mode, bedtime mode, whatever it is. I don't even turn it off. I just turn it off to see if my son got to school. So around 8 o'clock. And then again, I put it back on because I don't want any notifications until I'm done with my morning routine because I get easily distracted. So I know myself. Anything would get me distracted and down a rabbit hole. So my focus is not that great many times. And so I don't want to be tempted. And just say to yourself, you know what? I'm putting my phone off and I'll after my routine I will look at it. This is time for to honor your body and your energy. And when we give away all our time to messages, work, or pleasing others, we empty ourselves. So if you're a parent, you know how they say in the airplane, you have to put your mask on first and then it's your child. And for a lot of parents, that sound probably in the beginning selfish. It did to me. I it's like, well, no, how can I do that? But we are, you know, the whole piece of a pie, and every area of our life is just slice of that pie. So we have to think about it this way. We have to water our own garden and tend to our mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual being in order for us to be to helping others, because you cannot we have this saying in Bulgarian. I probably not translate it well, but you cannot pour, oh, you have it in America, you cannot pour from an empty cup. We have to fill our own cup in order for us to give to others. So let's journal on that. So the prompt is, where do I give away time that's meant for me? 2 minutes. One more minute and we're gonna go to the second prompt. The second prompt is, what rituals or routines do I need to feel grounded, rested, and nourished? So, what routines do you think you might want to have or establish? So, the next one would be, and this is the last one, spiritual boundaries. These protect our energy, our intuition, our sacred connection to ourselves. So, that is meditation, prayer. I would say journaling would be in the same category, but can be something different for you. So sometimes the people around us may not understand our journey, and they might be drawn to different religion or spirituality or different things. The way they make decisions might not be from intuitive place, but as women we need to learn. Our intuition is very strong, so we need to learn to nourish that, nurture that, because a lot of times we have suppressed that with this overdrive and constantly going on, and not having space to sit and meditate and to listen to ourselves, to just be with ourselves. We dim down this voice, and it's so quiet for for a lot of people. It's so quiet they just don't hear it. And in order for you to hear your intuition and to make decisions from that space, you need solitude. You need to sit with yourself and look inside, or meditate, or journal, whatever practice it is, or pray, whatever it is for you. But you need that time. You can go for a walk, but you need that solitude. So people sometimes they don't understand your journey because they are on a different path, and that's okay. And you know what, I found that the best thing for me is not to share with everyone everything, because I know already which friends and which people have very different opinion, and it's not like I'm afraid to uh, express different and to protect my beliefs, but it's just waste of energy, because I don't like to be convinced and waste time convincing people of what I believe. And everyone's free to believe what they want to believe. So if someone believes something different than me, the more the better. I mean, everyone, we're on this earth to just live our life. So just do you. If that works for you, do you. I'm not saying my way is the right way. My way, it's my way. It works for me. And maybe in a year it's not going to work for me and I have to pivot. But that's why we're on this earth. So whatever you believe, keep it to yourself. Don't try to convince people that you're right, that your way is the right way. And don't let, if you're easily convinced, I would suggest you not share, because then they'll start convincing you that you're wrong, that their way is the right way, and you're gonna be easily swayed. So Just again, it comes down to understanding who you are, knowing yourself, and if you know you're easily swayed the other direction, just don't even share things. And anyways, this is energy protected. Don't share your ideas of something that you want to do with friends that are not your super close friends. Even with close friends, share it afterwards when the idea is already taking shape and you started something concrete. But especially don't share with people that you feel like negative energy from them and they're envious and jealous and unhappy people. Do not share with them. Um, so the because people may question your peace, your rituals, your truths. They might question everything, you know. Some people just, it's my way or the highway. That's when spiritual boundaries are vital. You are not here to explain your argument to anyone, you're here to protect your glow. And even if someone is asking you, just say, you know what, I'd rather not get into it and move on. Here's the prompt: what drains my spiritual energy or disconnects me from my higher self? What boundaries would help me stay rooted in my truth even when others don't understand it? So let's do the first prompt, 2 minutes. What drains my spiritual energy or disconnects me from my higher self? The next question is, what boundary would help me stay rooted in my truth even when others don't understand it? Okay, so finish up. And again, your path doesn't require permission, just devotion. And I'm gonna say this from personal experience that once you start setting boundaries, I think the first thought of setting the boundary and knowing, for example, the person will say something to us in our mind is, okay, how can I make them understand that this is the right choice for me? And again, this comes from place of external validation and explaining yourself and feeling bad about setting the boundaries. And we have no control over what people would say or think once we start setting boundaries. I mean, in everything in our lives. And so it's very important to become like this non-sticky pan where nothing sticks to us. So let's say you set a boundary and you say, you know what, I can talk right now, but I can call you in 10 minutes. And they get frustrated with you. And they say something, oh, you never have time for me, or something like that. So probably your first reaction would be to justify yourself. What do you mean I never have time for you? Or, start arguing. And even if you don't, probably you're going to start feeling guilty. Maybe they have a right, or is it true? And so on. Instead of going into justifying yourself, it's important to just let those things slide because we have no control over what they say. And we need to be like a water. Let everything just go through us without sticking to us. If we let everything that people say stick to us, we are going to be carrying such a energetic baggage that it's going to change our vibration, and we're going to start attracting different things in our life that are negative. And we need to be protective of our space so we can attract whatever we want to attract. And it's extremely important to learn to say to yourself, you know what they say, it's not reflection of me, that is them. But also, when you're triggered, it's important to see, why am I triggered? If I'm triggered, then something in me is triggered. Probably your inner child, something from childhood, some programming. Someone made you feel guilty, and now you feel guilty that you're not responding all the time to messages, or you're people pleasing. But this comes from somewhere. Some parent or well meant adult made you feel like that, and it's in your programming. So when we are triggered, it's important to look within us and see why we're triggered, not blaming ourselves, but being compassionate, but also not let those things stick to us. So it's a tricky balance. Um, what they say, it has nothing to do with me, it has to do with them. But why am I triggered? What can I do to look back and see why this triggers me, and so I can heal it? Probably it's our inner child, and we can learn to talk to our inner child and to heal that inner child. And I'm gonna do a live stream maybe next Sunday. Hopefully I can figure it out how to do proper live streams because the technology failed me today. But this replay will be on YouTube, so it's not a lost cause. And so let's do just a little grounding in the end, because this is very difficult for some of you, maybe, the things maybe that you discovered. So let's just close our eyes and just take a deep breath and then exhale. And now let's put one hand over our heart, one on our womb, and count again till 4 on the inhale, 4 on the, we hold for 4, and then we exhale on 6 through our mouth. So let's do that. Inhale in 4 through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale through your mouth in 4 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Repeat after me. This is your mantra. I honor my space. I protect my glow. I'm safe to speak my truth and still be loved. My time, energy, and joy are sacred. I choose peace even when others don't understand it. You can repeat those words throughout the day. You can choose a portion of it and then repeat it. So remember, you're not too much. Your softness is not weakness. Your boundaries are sacred. They are self love. And next Sunday, we'll be journaling. Let me know in the comments. I have few ideas, but maybe how to stop over giving without guilt. I'll, and if you have any other topics, feel free to post it in the comments. But thank you for showing up today. Thank yourself for showing up today for yourself, because this is 50 minutes of live stream and journaling, and but that's something that you gave to yourself. And I'm planning to do this every Sunday, but let's see. The weather gets really good, so I want to be out also. So this is for now. Just remember, the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. Nurture it like it's a garden. That is the most important thing. So you can give to others and be nurturing to others, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. I'll see you next time, my beautiful friends. Ciao.